Hello and welcome to the programme. Now, 1 year ago, the Stockholm Arbitration Tribunal ruled in favour of Ukraine's state-owned Naftogaz regarding the most important issues in its dispute with Russia's Gazprom. Now, Gazprom still owes Naftogaz $2.56 billion as well as interest on this debt. During this year, Gazprom has tried to block its enforcement, suffering substantial financial and reputational damage as a result. Now, I'm pleased to say to discuss this, we welcome to our studio Hennadiy Kobal, an expert on the natural gas sector. Hello, Mr. Kobal. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for inviting.
So, really, it's a very complicated dispute between Gazprom and Naftogaz. Gazprom, a year ago, was ordered to pay over $4 billion to Naftogaz, and Naftogaz have already said they've collected quite a substantial part of this, several billion. I think it's 2.1 to be exact. But they still have to go to other jurisdictions to collect this outside the country. So we're talking about the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, Switzerland. Can you tell us a bit more about how this works and how they collect the debt?
So Naftogaz is looking for Gazprom's assets in European countries, like you mentioned it already. Now we have one more, Luxembourg. So, and Gazprom has some assets in this country. So Naftogaz is trying to get these assets to.
And what sort of assets are we talking about, for example?
It can be, Gazprom have ownership in a joint venture, probably some daughters companies as well. So this is assets. It's just probably part of the companies, daughters companies. It's hard to find out these assets. So
no, I can imagine it's a very difficult job for the courts.
Yes, they have a lot of lawyers, Gazprom, and trying to block this work.
And you follow the gas sector and the energy sector in general quite a lot. Do you think that the whole process is very slow about getting these assets back, or is it just because it's a very complicated process?
So it's at the very beginning, everybody understands that it will take a lot of time. So what's happening? This is a normal process, and I think it will take even more times to resolve this problem. But I think in year 2 or 2, everything will be good for Naftogaz, because this is the only one problem. We have another problem. This is another suit Naftogaz against Gazprom for almost $12 billion, even more. So, and this week, Stockholm Arbitration opened this case and start to work with this process. This is a new process.
And Naftogaz are quite positive about this case as well, that the court could rule in their favour. Is that correct? Is that
Naftogaz is trying to prepare the floor for next discussion with Gazprom. So if Gazprom and Naftogaz will sign a long-term contract, Naftogaz is ready to reduce $12 billion to $2 billion. So it's a long game.
Yes, and you know a lot about these contracts. Does Gazprom lose out in any way because of these various court cases which are happening?
Gazprom don't care about money in this situation. This is a long-term business. So Gazprom wants to get new pipelines, and they don't think about money in this case. So sure, Gazprom lose a lot of money, but this is a political question, not about business.
Well, because Naftogaz is looking at getting the money back from the period between 2014 and 2018, their win in the court was actually very significant. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, sure, because it changed everything. That's how its business working before. So now Ukraine became a part of Europe gas market, and Ukraine transformed his own market and tried to do and work like it works in Europe. So it's not good news for Gazprom,
because they are a monopoly and they're used to having this situation, and probably they want to maintain this.
Yes, but we have to say that Gazprom lose Ukrainian market. They don't have here a direct selling.
When you say, by the way, that Naftogaz should adopt more standards like they have in Europe, can you give us a few examples of those? How does it work in Europe at the moment that's perhaps more efficient or more transparent?
It's opened a lot of companies working in Ukrainian market. Now we have like 500 companies to sell gas, 64 companies importing gas from Europe.
64 companies?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
For last year. So it's a big number. We have a competition, prices the same as in Europe, and everything is going better. And today is the first day Ukraine open daily gas market. It's the same situation as we have in Europe. Before, Ukraine have monthly balancing.
Okay.
Like in Russia,
now, okay.
But now we are working like business, gas business, working in Europe. So everything is going better.
So it's really a factor of accountability now, if it's daily rather than monthly.
Yes, yes. Everything is more transparent, and every company can find out the prices, the contractors, and but it's hardly adapted. But
also
step by
it takes
step,
some time.
Yes. I think we will have a very hard year this year.
I want to talk actually on a more international scale. Obviously, we have Nord Stream 2, which is being built at the moment, and there's certainly very mixed feelings about this. Some people, even in Germany, are against it. Some are for it, especially business. Also, there's others, Turk Stream, other ideas in the pipeline, excuse the pun. So what sort of effect do you think this will have on Ukraine as a transit country?
So in general, every year Ukraine get like $3 billion for transition gas from Russia to Europe. So these $3 billion Ukraine can lose. But I think this situation is also more complicated, because Europe, especially Italy, need a lot of Russian gas, gas from Russia. So Ukrainian gas transit system in next few years will work.
So do you think Naftogaz are factoring in this when they're planning their long-term contracts with Gazprom?
Yes, but it's about gas volume, because we have now we can transit 100 billion cubic meters. If Nord Stream 2 will be built, so we lose half of them.
But I would imagine that Ukraine is probably going to go for the contract that's most profitable for Ukraine itself. What would that sort of contract be with Gazprom? What sort of terms and conditions could there be?
Ukraine needs a long-term contract, a big volume as can it be. So these 2 points that Naftogaz is really need.
But also stability as well. Is that a factor at all?
Yes, sure. So is long-term It means
In
stability.
terms of like prices.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but Gazprom against wants the short-term contract and as well as less volumes. So it will take this year all the contract ended. So at the end of the year, we will see how it Ukrainian company Gazprom and the Euro Commission will try to manage the next contract.
And also, we had some news recently that Naftogaz, the International Arbitration Court had ruled that Russia had been illegally extracting gas from Ukrainian land in Crimea, and especially with the oil rigs as well. So is this a separate case? What's your view on this? How do you think that's going to...
This is a separate case, but it's not against Gazprom. It's against
Russia in general.
Yes, as a country, it's against the government. So it will also big enough. It's like $4 billion. So it's another. It just at the beginning. So it will also take a lot of time to solve this.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming into our studio today.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
That was Hennadiy Kobal, an expert on the natural gas sector. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.